Science fiction once lived only on the page and screen. Now it powers our world. From the pocket communicators of Star Trek to the intelligent computers of 2001, these ideas have jumped straight from fantasy into our daily lives. This journey through 25 incredible breakthroughs will show you exactly how human ingenuity turned wild speculation into working science. You will discover which fictional inventions became real and how they are reshaping our future. What seemingly impossible technology might we hold in our hands next? That iconic flip of the communicator was more than just a cool prop. It was a blueprint for the future. When Martin Cooper made the first public call from a handheld cellular phone in 1973, he was holding a piece of science fiction made real. He has openly said that the communicators from Star Trek were a direct inspiration, a vision of a connected world that he helped bring to life. That single device, once a fantasy on a television screen, has utterly transformed human society. It collapsed the vast distances between us, putting instant voice calls, video chats, and the entirety of the world's knowledge into a single pocket-sized tool. This was the first great proof that a fictional dream could spark a tangible revolution, setting a powerful precedent for the incredible conversions that were yet to come. That stark isolation Dave Bowman felt, watching his family on a screen from the depths of space, perfectly captured the bittersweet promise of telepresence. Science fiction has long dreamed of technology that could collapse distance, allowing us to see and speak with anyone, anywhere, as if they were in the same room. The video screens aboard the Starship Enterprise or the haunting transmissions in 2001 were not just set dressing. They were a profound human desire made visible. The race to build that dream began surprisingly early, with companies like AT&T demonstrating a functional picture phone as far back as the 1960s. It was a clunky, expensive novelty at the time, a glimpse of a future that was not quite ready to arrive, but the seed was planted. Decades later, that seed has blossomed into a global reality. With a simple tap on a screen, platforms like Zoom and Skype connect grandparents to newborns, enable global business deals, and keep classrooms running from thousands of miles away. This is no longer a futuristic concept. It is an ordinary part of our daily fabric. It has fundamentally reshaped how we work, learn, and maintain our closest relationships, erasing geographical barriers with the ease of a button. We have achieved that sci-fi promise of being present anywhere, anytime, and this is just the beginning. As we grow accustomed to seeing each other through screens, the next logical step is to feel as if we are truly sharing the same physical space, pushing us toward the precipice of even more immersive and startling virtual worlds. The same fear and wonder that HAL inspired now lives in our everyday reality. That fictional supercomputer, capable of speech and reason, even of terrifying rebellion, was a powerful story about the promise and peril of creating intelligence. Today, that story is no longer confined to the screen. Artificial intelligence systems are here, and they are already transforming our world. Consider IBM's Watson, a machine that can digest millions of medical journals in seconds to help doctors diagnose complex diseases. Or the intricate algorithms that guide self-driving cars, processing a flood of sensor data to navigate busy streets. These are not sentient beings, but they learn, adapt, and make decisions in ways that eerily mirror their science fiction ancestors. The groundwork was laid by pioneers like Alan Turing, who dared to ask if machines could think. Yet it was the cultural visions, the narratives of helpful androids and rogue computers, that fueled our collective ambition to build them. Now we live with the result: machines that can compose music, write prose, and even create original art. This incredible capability forces us to confront the very ethical questions those old stories warned us about. How much autonomy should we grant these systems? Where does the line between tool and entity truly lie? The evolution of artificial intelligence is perhaps the most profound example of a speculative idea not just becoming real, but actively shaping our technological ambitions and our most crucial conversations about the future we are building. Those sleek, flat screens from the Enterprise and the Discovery were more than just props. They were a promise that accessing the universe of human knowledge would one day be as simple as touching a glass surface. That promise is now in our hands, literally. The tablet computer, a device once confined to the imaginations of set designers, has become an unremarkable part of our daily reality. Innovators like Steve Jobs saw those science fiction dreams and asked a simple, powerful question: why not build that? The result was a revolution in intuitive, portable computing. No longer chained to a desk, we now carry devices that are libraries, cinemas, offices, and art studios, all fused into a single, slender slate. This is the sci-fi ideal of a vast knowledge repository at your fingertips, fully realized. It has fundamentally changed how we read, how we work, and how we play, making the digital world feel less like a tool and more like a natural extension of our own minds. This seamless integration into the fabric of our lives is a quiet but profound victory. It proves that the most powerful technology is the kind that feels invisible, the kind that empowers us without demanding our constant attention. And this is just the beginning of a deeper, more personal connection with our machines. That seamless integration of technology into our lives finds its voice in the computers of Star Trek. On the bridge of the Enterprise, no one typed a command. They simply spoke, and the ship's computer understood, responding instantly. For decades, that felt like pure magic, a futuristic convenience we could only dream of. Today, that dream answers back when we call its name. We ask Siri for the weather, tell Alexa to play our favorite song, and have Google dim the lights in our living room. These voice-activated assistants are not mere gadgets. They are the realization of a fundamental sci-fi vision: the computer as an interactive partner. This magic is powered by natural language processing, a complex field of artificial intelligence dedicated to teaching machines to understand human speech. Researchers, many of whom grew up watching those very sci-fi shows, have worked for years to crack the code of our casual, often messy, way of talking. They built systems that could parse our sentences, grasp our intent, and formulate a human-like response. The result is a technology that feels less like using a tool and more like holding a conversation. It has woven itself into the fabric of our homes, managing our schedules, controlling our appliances, and settling dinner table arguments with a quick fact check. This represents a profound shift in how we interact with the digital world, moving our primary interface from our fingertips to our voices. It is a step toward a future where technology understands not just our words, but the context and nuance behind them. As these systems grow more sophisticated, learning our habits and anticipating our needs, they promise a world where our environment responds to us as intuitively as a trusted friend. This evolution from a silent screen to a conversational companion marks one of the most personal ways science fiction has stepped into our reality, changing not just what we can do, but how we naturally connect with the machines that share our world. That conversational ease with our machines is now spilling over into entire worlds we can step inside. The fictional holodeck from Star Trek offered the ultimate escape, a perfect illusion of any environment you could dream of. For decades, that vision of total immersion was the holy grail for virtual reality pioneers. Innovators like Jaron Lanier championed the technology, drawing direct inspiration from science fiction's limitless landscapes. Today, that dream is no longer confined to television screens. With a headset like the Oculus Rift or HTC Vive, you can find yourself transported. You might be standing on the surface of Mars, your every step tracked in real space. You could be practicing a complex surgical procedure, your hands manipulating virtual tools with startling precision. These systems use intricate motion tracking and breathtaking 3D graphics to build realities that feel believable, that your body and mind can almost accept as real. This is not just for gaming anymore. Therapists use it to safely treat phobias, allowing patients to confront fears in a controlled environment. Educators use it to send students on field trips through ancient Rome or inside the human bloodstream. It is the promise of experiential learning and pure escapism fulfilled. We are actively blurring the line between the physical world and the digital one, creating spaces that feel just as real to our senses. This breakthrough hints at a future where we do not just observe digital content, but truly inhabit it, opening up profound new possibilities for how we connect, learn, and experience reality itself. Stepping out of a virtual world and into your car, you might find the vehicle itself has become an automated companion. The self-piloting taxis of Total Recall and the sleek autonomous highways of Minority Report presented a world free from traffic jams and human error. That cinematic dream is now rolling onto our streets, driven by companies like Tesla and Waymo. These are not ordinary cars, they are sophisticated robots on wheels. A complex network of sensors, cameras, and radar creates a 360-degree view of the world, while artificial intelligence acts as the brain, processing this flood of data in real time to make split-second decisions. It identifies a pedestrian stepping off a curb, predicts the path of a cyclist, and navigates complex intersections, all without a human hand ever touching the wheel. This monumental leap is the result of decades of work by engineers and AI specialists, many of whom were first inspired by those very sci-fi visions of a smoother, safer future. The motivation was clear: to remove the single biggest point of failure in transportation, us. Human drivers are susceptible to distraction, fatigue, and emotion. Autonomous systems are not. By eliminating these factors, self-driving technology holds the potential to dramatically reduce the millions of accidents that occur each year. This is not a distant promise. It is a present-day reality in testing phases across the globe, quietly reshaping our concept of urban mobility. We are witnessing the birth of a new era in transit, one that echoes those futuristic visions of hassle-free travel. As the technology matures, it promises to revolutionize everything from daily commutes to long-haul trucking, fundamentally altering the rhythm of our cities and our relationship with the open road. Those self-driving cars navigate our streets, but the ultimate destination for so many pioneers has always been the stars. For generations, science fiction presented us with a universe where space travel was routine, where mighty starships like the Enterprise embarked on their missions and returned home, ready to fly again. These were not disposable vessels, they were reusable marvels of engineering. That fictional ideal collided with a harsh reality for decades. Every rocket we launched was a one-way trip, a breathtakingly expensive piece of technology discarded into the ocean or burned up in the atmosphere. This single-use model made reaching orbit a costly, exclusive endeavor, a barrier that kept space just out of reach. Then, a fundamental shift began. Visionaries like Elon Musk looked at those sci-fi fleets and asked a radical question: why can't our rockets do that? The answer became SpaceX's Falcon 9, a machine that defies conventional wisdom. After launching its payload, this rocket does not simply fall back to Earth. It reignites its engines, adjusts its fins with pinpoint precision, and descends to a landing pad or a drone ship at sea, touching down upright as gracefully as a science fiction fantasy made real. That single image of a rocket landing itself is more than just a technological marvel. It is a revolution in economics. By reusing these massive boosters, the cost of access to space has plummeted. What was once a billion-dollar launch can now be achieved for a fraction of that price. This breakthrough of reusability has shattered the old paradigm. It has enabled the deployment of vast satellite constellations that beam internet across the globe and allows for more frequent resupply missions to the International Space Station. Most importantly, it has reignited our grandest ambitions, making the dream of a human colony on Mars a tangible goal with a plausible pathway. This is the sci-fi trope of sustainable spaceflight made manifest. We are no longer just visitors to space, we are learning how to live there, and it all starts with a rocket that can come home. The dream of a machine that could materialize objects from thin air was once pure fantasy, the stuff of Star Trek replicators. Yet that very dream now hums quietly in workshops, hospitals, and even homes around the world. 3D printing, or additive manufacturing, has turned that sci-fi ideal into a tangible process, building physical objects layer by delicate layer directly from a digital blueprint. It works not by carving away material, but by adding it, precisely depositing everything from plastics and metals to living cells to form complex structures impossible to create with traditional tools. This method is already revolutionizing fields in profound ways. Doctors can print customized prosthetic limbs that fit a patient perfectly, at a fraction of the traditional cost. Architects are printing entire wall sections for houses, dramatically reducing construction waste. In remote areas or even on the International Space Station, the ability to print a needed tool or component on demand transforms logistics from a complex supply chain into a simple digital file transfer. This is the promise of the replicator made real, customized, local, and on-demand production. We are witnessing a fundamental shift from mass manufacturing to personal fabrication, where the only limit is the creativity of the design. As the technology advances, printing with advanced alloys, conductive inks, and biological materials, the boundary between a digital idea and a physical object truly does begin to dissolve. The power of creation is being democratized, placing a universe of potential objects right at our fingertips. The power to rewrite life itself now rests in our hands, a tool as precise as a word processor for the very code of existence. In films like Gattaca, this was a terrifying prospect, a world where your DNA determined your destiny from birth. In Jurassic Park, it was the ultimate act of hubris, resurrecting giants from a drop of ancient blood. For decades, this was pure science fiction, a dramatic device to explore our deepest fears about playing God. Then, a revolution quietly began in a lab. Scientists Emmanuel Charpentier and Jennifer Doudna, unraveling the defense mechanisms of bacteria, discovered something extraordinary. They found CRISPR, a system that acts like a pair of molecular scissors capable of cutting DNA at an exact, predetermined location. This was not like the clumsy, imprecise genetic tinkering of the past. This was a programmable editor for the book of life, allowing researchers to snip out faulty genes and even insert healthy ones with stunning accuracy. Suddenly, the fictional nightmares and dreams were upon us. Doctors are now using this technology in clinical trials to tackle inherited diseases like sickle cell anemia, offering a potential cure at the most fundamental level. Agricultural scientists are designing crops resistant to blight and drought, fighting famine with a genetic tweak. The audacious idea of extinction, once the sole domain of Jurassic Park, is now a serious scientific discussion, with projects aiming to bring back lost species like the woolly mammoth. Yet with this immense power comes the very ethical quagmire those old stories warned us about. Who gets to decide which genetic traits are desirable? How do we ensure this tool is used for healing and not for creating a new kind of inequality? The line between treating illness and enhancing human ability is already blurring, forcing us to confront questions about identity, consent, and the natural order that we are only beginning to understand. We are no longer just reading the story of life, we are learning how to edit it. and every change we make writes a new chapter for our entire species. Editing the very code of life is a profound power, but the next frontier brings that technology directly to the human body. We once watched the $6 million man run at impossible speeds and lift incredible weights with his bionic limbs. That fictional dream of technological enhancement has become a life-changing reality for thousands. Modern robotic prosthetics are miracles of engineering, a fusion of mechanics, sensors, and artificial intelligence. Companies like DECA have created arms so advanced they can pluck a single grape from a bunch without crushing it. Open Bionics designs sleek, affordable robotic hands that respond to muscle signals, allowing users to perform delicate tasks like holding a key or typing on a keyboard. These are not passive hooks or cosmetic shells. They are dynamic extensions of the human will, restoring a degree of function and dexterity that was once thought lost forever. The inspiration is a powerful combination of urgent medical need and that long-standing science fiction aspiration to rebuild ourselves, better and stronger than before. The most advanced systems are now closing the loop, offering not just movement but sensation. Researchers are developing interfaces that allow a robotic hand to send touch signals back to the brain, creating a rudimentary sense of feeling. This is the first, tentative step toward truly blurring the line between human and machine, a direct echo of those cyborg futures we used to only imagine. As these technologies integrate more seamlessly with our own nervous systems, they open up a world of potential that goes far beyond restoring lost function. Could we one day enhance human strength for rescue workers, or provide sensory abilities beyond our natural limits? We are standing at the threshold of a new human experience, one where technology does not just assist the body, but becomes a fundamental part of its capabilities. The same technology that lands rockets is now weaving a web of connectivity around our entire planet. Decades before the first satellite reached orbit, the writer Arthur C. Clarke envisioned a future where relay stations in the sky would bounce signals across the globe, making instant communication possible between any 2 points on Earth. His idea seemed like a fanciful prediction, a classic piece of science fiction speculation. Today, that vision is not just real, it is being built on an almost unimaginable scale. Companies like SpaceX are launching constellations of thousands of small, mass-produced satellites into low Earth orbit. Systems like Starlink form a dynamic, shifting net in the sky, each satellite a single node in a vast celestial network. Their purpose is as simple as it is revolutionary: to provide high-speed internet access to every single inch of the planet. This is the ultimate fulfillment of the sci-fi dream of a connected world. It means a researcher in the Antarctic can video conference with colleagues in London. A village school in the Amazon can access the same digital libraries as a student in Tokyo. A ship navigating the remote Pacific, or a family displaced by a natural disaster, can establish a critical communication link where no infrastructure exists. This is not merely a convenience, it is a profound transformation of human potential. It democratizes information, turning remote and underserved areas into active participants in the global community. This technological leap mirrors the interconnected societies of countless science fiction worlds, where distance is no barrier to knowledge or collaboration. It demonstrates with stunning clarity how a single visionary idea, once planted in our collective imagination, can guide generations of engineers to turn a fictional dream into working, world-changing hardware. We are literally enclosing our world in a shell of data, building the nervous system for a truly global civilization. That vast network of satellites connects our world, but our gaze is now fixed far beyond it. For centuries, science fiction promised us alien suns and distant Earths, entire worlds orbiting stars we could barely see. That dream has become a staggering scientific reality. We now know of thousands of exoplanets, worlds beyond our own solar system, and the count grows almost daily. This incredible leap was powered by missions like Kepler, a space telescope that stared at a single patch of sky for years, watching for the telltale dimming of a star as a planet passed in front of it. Its successor, TESS, now scans the entire sky, performing a celestial census on an unimaginable scale. These are not just instruments, they are engines of discovery, turning the fictional quest for new worlds into a rigorous, data-driven exploration. The true magic, however, lies not just in finding these planets, but in understanding them. Pioneering astronomers like Sarah Seeger are leading the charge to peer into their very atmospheres. By analyzing the starlight that filters through a distant world's air, we can detect the chemical fingerprints of water vapor, methane, and oxygen, gases that could hint at the presence of life. We are actively hunting for a second Earth, a pale blue dot orbiting another sun. Every new planet found in the habitable zone, that Goldilocks region where temperatures are just right for liquid water, fuels a profound and ancient hope. It is the hope that we are not alone in the vast, silent cosmos, a hope that science fiction has nurtured for generations. Each new discovery is a step closer to answering one of humanity's oldest questions. Are we the universe's only children, or is life a story being written on countless worlds under countless suns? The hunt for alien worlds hinges on a question of staggering complexity, sifting through cosmic data for a faint signal of life. It is a problem so vast that it could take classical computers centuries to solve. But a new kind of machine is being born, one that operates on principles that seem ripped from the pages of a science fiction novel. Quantum computing defies every rule of conventional logic. Where a traditional computer bit is a simple switch, either a 1 or a 0, a quantum bit or qubit exists in a state of superposition. It can be a 1, a 0, or both at the same time. This is not a technicality, it is a fundamental shift in the nature of computation. Think of it as being able to explore every single path through a maze simultaneously, instead of trying one corridor after another. This bizarre property, once the domain of theoretical physicists like Richard Feynman, is now being engineered into reality by companies like IBM and Google. Their quantum processors are fragile, often requiring temperatures colder than deep space to function, but they are already demonstrating a power that hints at a revolutionary future. This is the ultimate sci-fi trope of a technology that works on entirely new, almost magical principles. The potential applications are as profound as any fictional prophecy. Quantum computers could unravel the most complex cryptographic codes that secure our digital world, forcing us to reinvent internet security from the ground up. They could simulate molecular interactions with such precision that they would dramatically accelerate the discovery of new life-saving drugs and miracle materials. We could model climate change with unprecedented accuracy or optimize global supply chains in ways that are simply impossible today. This is not merely a faster computer. It is a different kind of mind altogether, one that harnesses the inherent weirdness of the quantum realm to solve problems we once thought were forever beyond our reach. The dream of a direct connection between mind and machine is no longer a ghost in the digital shell. For decades, science fiction from The Matrix to Neuromancer painted vivid pictures of a future where our thoughts could control our world, a realm where consciousness and silicon could merge. That future is now taking its first, tentative steps into our reality. Companies like Neuralink are developing brain-computer interfaces, tiny, intricate meshes of electrodes that are designed to be implanted directly into the brain itself. Their primary goal is a profoundly human one: to read the brain's intricate electrical signals and to stimulate neurons in return. The potential medical applications are staggering. These devices could offer new hope to individuals with paralysis, allowing them to control a robotic arm or a computer cursor with nothing but their intention. They could restore a sense of touch to an amputee or help silence the debilitating tremors of Parkinson's disease. This is not just about restoring lost function. It is about bridging broken connections within the most complex system we know. The researchers behind this work are driven by that classic sci-fi inspiration, the fusion of human cognition with the vast power of the digital realm. Yet as the technology evolves, the possibilities become even more profound. Could such an interface one day allow us to record a memory and play it back? To communicate a complex idea to another person without ever speaking a word, a form of technological telepathy. We are standing at the precipice of a frontier where thought itself becomes the ultimate user interface. This merging of mind and machine forces us to confront questions that have haunted our stories for generations. If a device can read your thoughts, where does your private self end and the machine begin? Could your memories, your very identity, become just another form of data, vulnerable to theft or manipulation? The path forward is as fraught with ethical peril as it is brimming with promise, a direct echo of the warnings woven into the very fiction that inspired it. We are beginning to weave technology into the fabric of our consciousness, and every thread we add will fundamentally alter the tapestry of what it means to be human. That same technology that can rebuild our bodies is now being used to reinvent our most fundamental need, food. For generations, science fiction often portrayed synthetic food as a grim necessity, a dystopian paste consumed in the shadows of an overpopulated world. Yet a far more hopeful version of that idea is now brewing in laboratories, turning a frightening concept into a potential solution for our planet. This is lab-grown meat, or cellular agriculture, and it begins not in a field but with a single cell. Scientists take a small, harmless biopsy from a living animal, collecting a sample of muscle cells. These cells are then placed in a nutrient-rich bioreactor, a controlled environment that mimics the conditions inside an animal's body. Here, they multiply and grow, naturally forming into muscle tissue, the same muscle tissue you would find in a steak or a chicken breast. The result is real meat, with the same taste and texture, but produced without the need for raising and slaughtering a single animal. Companies like Memphis Meats and Upside Foods are pioneering this process, creating beef, chicken, and even seafood directly from cells. This breakthrough directly confronts two of the biggest challenges of our time. The environmental impact of traditional livestock farming is immense, a major source of greenhouse gases, land degradation, and water consumption. Lab-grown meat offers a path to dramatically reduce that footprint, requiring a fraction of the land and water. Ethically, it presents a future where we can enjoy meat without the moral cost of industrial animal agriculture. It transforms the scary sci-fi trope of artificial food into a powerful tool for sustainability and compassion. As production scales and costs fall, this innovation could ensure food security for a growing global population, providing a reliable protein source regardless of climate or geography. We are witnessing the birth of an entirely new relationship with what we eat, moving from farm to lab. This is the promise of the Star Trek replicator made real, not as a dystopian punishment, but as a conscious choice for a healthier world. The journey from a single cell to a meal on a plate represents one of the most profound and hopeful ways we are reimagining our future, one bite at a time. That iconic, shimmering plea for help from Princess Leia was more than a special effect. It was a universal wish to make the intangible real. We wanted to reach out and touch the light, to share a space with a person who was not physically there. Today, that wish is slowly materializing in labs and showrooms around the world. We are moving beyond the flat screen into the world of volumetric imaging and true holographic displays. This is not the Pepper's Ghost illusion used for concerts, but a genuine creation of light in three-dimensional space. Researchers achieve this by manipulating light fields, using precisely controlled lasers or complex arrays of micro-lenses to sculpt photons into a free-floating image you can walk around and view from every angle, just like a physical object. The applications are already transforming critical fields. Surgeons can now hover a detailed, 3D hologram of a patient's heart in the middle of an operating room, allowing them to plan a complex procedure without ever making a cut. In entertainment, artists are creating volumetric videos, capturing performances so completely that you can step inside the recording and view the artist from behind or the side. A far cry from a flat video on a screen. This breakthrough fulfills a deep-seated sci-fi desire for tangible, projected images that share our physical world. As the technology matures, these light-based interfaces could completely redefine our relationship with digital information. Imagine a mechanic seeing a holographic schematic overlaid on a real engine, or a family sharing a virtual dinner table with a relative projected into an empty chair. We are taking the first steps toward a world where our digital and physical realities are not just side by side, but seamlessly interwoven, making information something we can truly reach out and explore. The same holographic light that can project a human heart can also guide an autonomous eye in the sky. Fleets of unmanned aircraft, once the chilling specter of sci-fi warfare in stories like Ender's Game, now hum with a more mundane purpose over our neighborhoods. These are not weapons of science fiction dystopia, but versatile tools born from that very same speculative vision. The drone has evolved from a military oddity into a civilian workhorse, and it is reshaping our world from above. Companies like Amazon are already testing delivery systems where a simple click summons a small, whirring vehicle to your doorstep with a package, bypassing traffic entirely. In agriculture, drones equipped with multispectral cameras fly precise grids over vast fields, spotting ailing crops long before the human eye can see the yellowing leaves, allowing farmers to target water and pesticides with pinpoint accuracy, saving resources and boosting yields. Perhaps most powerfully, in disaster zones after an earthquake or hurricane, thermal imaging drones can sweep over rubble, locating survivors by their body heat when it is too dangerous for human rescue teams to enter. This incredible versatility is powered by two key breakthroughs. Artificial intelligence gives these machines their brains, enabling them to navigate complex environments, avoid obstacles, and make independent decisions. Simultaneously, revolutionary advances in battery technology provide the endurance, allowing them to stay aloft long enough to complete their missions. We are witnessing the fictional concept of automated logistics and surveillance become a practical, everyday utility. Yet, this very ubiquity echoes the cautionary tales that inspired them. The same drone that delivers a life-saving defibrillator could also be a tool for invasive spying. The autonomy that allows a search and rescue drone to operate in a smoke-filled building also raises profound questions about where the line should be drawn for machines making life or death decisions. We have successfully built the tool, and now we must confront the responsibility of wielding it, ensuring that this powerful technology serves humanity as a guardian and not as a silent, watchful threat. The same drone that surveys a disaster zone from above now turns its gaze inward, to the most personal landscape of all, the human body. For decades, the medical tricorder of Star Trek represented a perfect fantasy, a device you could simply wave over a patient for an instant diagnosis. That fantasy has quietly materialized on our own wrists. Wearable health monitors like the Apple Watch and Fitbit are the first generation of this incredible technology, transforming our relationship with our own well-being. These are not just fitness trackers anymore. They are sophisticated biometric sensors providing a constant, real-time stream of data about our most vital functions. They track your heart rate throughout the day and night, flagging unusual rhythms. They can take an electrocardiogram or ECG, a reading of your heart's electrical activity that was once only possible in a doctor's office. They monitor your blood oxygen levels, your sleep patterns, and your overall activity. This continuous, passive monitoring creates a rich, detailed picture of your health that a single annual checkup could never hope to capture. The development of these tools is a powerful collaboration between medical professionals and technology companies, all striving to make sophisticated diagnostics accessible to everyone. This breakthrough empowers you to move from being a passive patient to an active participant in your own health. It is the ultimate shift towards personalized, preventive medicine, catching potential problems before they become emergencies. As these sensors evolve, becoming even smaller and more powerful, the line between our fictional dreams and our daily reality will continue to blur. We are approaching an era where your watch might one day detect the subtle chemical markers of an oncoming illness, alerting you to see a doctor long before you ever feel a single symptom, making the Sci-Fi tricorder's promise of effortless, non-invasive diagnosis a routine part of staying well. That same sensor on your wrist, tracking the rhythm of your own heart, now points toward a rhythm of a different kind, the steady beat of rocket engines carrying private citizens into the black. The sterile luxury of the space station in 2001, a Space Odyssey where businessmen floated in elegant silence, was a fiction of its time. Today, that fiction has its own launch schedule. Companies like Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin have turned the cinematic dream of civilian spaceflight into a tangible, bookable experience. Their crafts offer a brief, breathtaking suborbital hop, just enough time to unbuckle and float in weightlessness while gazing down at the impossible curve of our planet against the utter black of space. Visionary entrepreneurs like Richard Branson did not just see a business opportunity, they saw a human one, a chance to open the final frontier to anyone with the dream and the means to pursue it. This is the ultimate democratization of exploration. For centuries, astronauts were an elite class, selected through grueling processes for government missions. Now, the title is expanding to include artists, teachers, and everyday adventurers. The profound impact of seeing Earth from space, that fragile blue marble hanging in the void, is no longer confined to a handful of military test pilots. It is an experience that can inspire a new generation, creating a global community of people who have personally witnessed our planet's beauty and vulnerability. As these early flights pave the way and competition drives down costs, we are inching toward a future where a trip to orbit could become as routine as a cross-country flight. We are witnessing the birth of an entirely new chapter in human experience, where the ultimate adventure shifts from a fantasy on a screen to a destination you can actually visit. Floating in a spacecraft might look like fun, but our bodies are not designed for it. Muscles atrophy without resistance, bones lose density in the absence of weight, and fluids shift unnaturally, all posing severe risks for long journeys. The spinning space stations of 2001, A Space Odyssey, offered a beautifully simple solution, one that real scientists are now working to build. The principle is centrifugal force. Just as water stays in a bucket when you swing it in a fast circle, astronauts inside a rotating spacecraft would be pressed against the outer hull, creating a steady, outward pull that feels exactly like gravity. This is not some complex anti-gravity field. It is a straightforward application of physics, turning the entire spacecraft into a kind of carousel that mimics the constant tug of a planetary surface. Researchers are actively designing concepts for missions to Mars, and beyond that feature, a small habitation module tethered to a counterweight, like two ends of a lasso, set spinning slowly in the void. This artificial gravity would allow crews to live and work in a near-normal environment, maintaining their muscle mass and bone strength for the day they step onto another world. It transforms a science fiction plot device into one of the most critical engineering challenges of our time, Success here would mean the difference between being temporary visitors to space and becoming permanent residents, able to thrive on voyages that last for years. This breakthrough is the key that unlocks the rest of the solar system, turning the dream of a multi-planetary future from a perilous expedition into a sustainable reality. The dream of disappearing has haunted our stories for centuries, from the cloaking devices of Star Trek to the flowing invisibility cloak in Harry Potter. The power to vanish has always been the ultimate tool for spies and wizards. That fantasy is now being reverse-engineered in laboratories, and the secret lies not in magic, but in the bizarre properties of substances called metamaterials. These are not your everyday alloys or plastics. They are artificially engineered structures, crafted with microscopic precision to interact with light in ways no natural material ever could. Think of light as a river flowing around a rock. A normal object blocks that flow, casting a shadow, but a metamaterial cloak acts like a clever arrangement of guides, coaxing the river of light to flow smoothly around an object and reunite on the other side as if nothing was ever there. No shadow, no reflection, just empty space where an object truly sits. Scientists have already built small, rudimentary cloaks that work for specific wavelengths, like microwave or infrared light, effectively hiding an object from a particular type of detector. This breakthrough is a stunning marriage of theoretical physics and materials science, turning a literary trick into a serious engineering challenge. The potential applications are profound. Beyond the obvious military uses for stealth aircraft, these materials could lead to revolutionary optical devices. Lenses made from metamaterials could be completely free of distortion, allowing for microscopes that see individual molecules or medical scanners that peer deep into tissue with unparalleled clarity. We are witnessing the very first steps toward a future where invisibility is not a spell, but a sophisticated application of physics. As these metamaterials become more advanced, capable of manipulating the full spectrum of visible light, the line between a child's fantasy and a scientist's blueprint will continue to dissolve, bringing the dreams of wizards and starship captains quietly into our world. That same power to vanish an object is dwarfed by the ambition to bottle a star. For generations, science fiction has depicted starships powered by the hearts of suns, a source of clean, limitless energy that could fuel entire civilizations. That dream is no longer confined to the screen. It is the driving force behind one of the most complex engineering projects in human history. Deep in the south of France, an international coalition is building ITER, a machine of staggering scale designed to achieve what was once thought impossible: sustained nuclear fusion here on Earth. The principle is simple in concept, yet fiendishly difficult in practice to replicate the process that powers our sun. It involves fusing two light atoms, typically forms of hydrogen, together under conditions of immense heat and pressure. When they fuse, they create a heavier atom and release a colossal amount of energy, far greater than what is required to start the reaction. The challenge is containment. How do you hold a substance that is hotter than the sun, a roiling plasma, without it instantly vaporizing any physical container? The answer is a powerful magnetic cage. ITER uses immense superconducting magnets to suspend this superheated plasma in a vacuum, away from the walls, allowing the fusion reaction to occur. This monumental effort, uniting physicists and engineers from across the globe, is directly inspired by those fictional visions of a world free from energy scarcity. Success would mean access to power with no carbon emissions, no long-lived radioactive waste, and a fuel supply derived from seawater that could last for millions of years. It is the ultimate answer to climate change and energy poverty, a single solution to two of humanity's greatest challenges. Achieving a self-sustaining fusion reaction would be more than a scientific milestone. It would be a fundamental turning point for our species, unlocking a future of abundance and ending our reliance on the ancient, buried fuels of a prehistoric world. We are reaching for the power of a star, not as conquerors, but as students, hoping to bring a tiny piece of that cosmic fire home to light our way forward. The power to command a star's energy is rivaled only by the power to command information itself, to make it vanish from one point and appear instantly in another. While we cannot yet beam a person across a room, we have achieved the next best thing, the teleportation of information. This is not science fiction's transporter, but something just as strange and profound, quantum teleportation. It relies on one of the most baffling phenomena in all of physics, quantum entanglement. Imagine two particles like two coins, created together in a special way. Now flip one coin in New York. Instantly, without any signal or delay, the other coin in Tokyo will show the exact same result, heads or tails. This spooky connection, as Einstein called it, defies our everyday understanding of space and time. Scientists have harnessed this weirdness to teleport the quantum state of a particle, its unique fingerprint of information, across significant distances in laboratories. They do this by entangling two particles and then carefully interacting one of them with a third particle that holds the information to be sent. This interaction instantly affects the distant, entangled partner, effectively recreating the original information far away. The original is destroyed in the process, but its perfect copy appears at the destination. This breakthrough is the foundation for a technological revolution. It promises the creation of unhackable quantum networks, where any attempt to eavesdrop on a message would immediately disturb the delicate entangled state, alerting the users and collapsing the connection. It is a vital component for linking future quantum computers into a powerful web, a quantum internet. We may not be beaming Captain Kirk to a planet's surface, but we are learning how to beam the most valuable thing in the universe, secure information, across the void. This is the first, crucial step toward a communication system that operates on principles we are only beginning to understand. The final frontier has always demanded a new kind of engine, one that needs no fuel and can run forever. Solar sails are that engine, and they are already flying. This is the ancient dream of sailing on sunlight, a concept from classics like The Mote in God's Eye, made into a working spacecraft. The principle is as elegant as it is simple. Photons, the tiny particles that make up light, may have no mass, but they carry momentum. When a vast, mirror-like sail made of an incredibly thin material catches these photons from the sun, they push against it, imparting a tiny, continuous pressure. This is not a sudden burst of power like a chemical rocket, but an inexorable and gentle push, a constant acceleration that builds over time. The Planetary Society's Light Sail 2 mission proved this works, successfully raising its orbit around Earth using nothing but the pressure of sunlight. This breakthrough transforms a beautiful theory into a practical propulsion method. The implications for exploration are staggering. Without the need to carry heavy fuel, a solar sail-equipped probe could reach incredible speeds, journeying to the outer planets and beyond on a voyage limited only by the durability of its materials. It could hover in unusual positions, station keeping at a point between the Earth and the Sun to provide advanced warning of solar storms. Most poetically, it enables the first realistic missions to other stars. A powerful laser beam could replace sunlight, pushing a tiny, wafer-thin probe with a sail to a fraction of the speed of light, reaching our nearest stellar neighbor in a human lifetime. This is the ultimate fulfillment of the sci-fi vision of clean, endless travel. It is a technology that does not explode or burn, but simply rides the silent, endless waves of light pouring from our sun and every other star in the cosmos, turning the universe itself into our ocean. This conversation between dreamers and doers has been unfolding for centuries. Long before a single rocket left the launch pad, authors were sketching out the blueprints in the boundless workshop of the imagination. Isaac Asimov did not just write stories about robots. He formulated the ethical laws that would one day guide their real-world development. Arthur C. Clarke did not merely imagine a satellite network. He calculated the precise orbit where it would need to be placed. A prediction so accurate it became reality decades later. This is not a coincidence. It is a powerful, symbiotic relationship. Science fiction provides the grand vision, the compelling narrative of what could be, while science provides the rigorous methodology to test whether it should be. These stories do more than just predict, they inspire. A young engineer watches a starship on a screen and dedicates their life to building a better rocket engine. A biologist reads about genetic engineering in a novel and is driven to unlock its real potential in a lab. The fiction acts as a cultural and ethical sandbox, allowing us to play out the consequences of a new technology before it even exists. We grapple with the moral dilemmas through characters and plot, preparing ourselves for the real-world debates that are sure to follow. This ongoing dialogue turns wild speculation into a self-fulfilling prophecy, capturing the public's imagination and, crucially, attracting the funding and talent needed to make the impossible mundane. From Jules Verne's detailed vision of a submarine in 20,000 leagues under the sea to the touchscreens and communicators of Star Trek, the pattern is undeniable. The dream comes first, captured in ink and light. Then, slowly and deliberately, we set about the work of building it in steel and silicon. Every one of the 25 breakthroughs we have explored stands as a testament to this creative loop. They are not just inventions, they are conversations made manifest, proof that the most powerful tool for shaping our future might just be a well-told story. So the next time you lose yourself in a science fiction epic, pay close attention to the technology gleaming in the background. That sleek device, that impossible engine, that profound idea, it is not just a prop. It is a question being posed to the next generation of builders. And somewhere, a future innovator is already beginning to formulate the answer. From smartphones to solar sails, this journey reveals a profound truth about human nature. We are not just problem solvers, we are storytellers who then build the worlds we imagine. Each of these 25 breakthroughs began as a spark in someone's mind, a what-if scenario played out in a book or on a screen, long before it became a blueprint in a lab. These are not merely gadgets and machines. They are monuments to our boundless creativity and our relentless drive to push past the known. They solve our most pressing problems, from curing disease to connecting the globe, but they do something even more important. They expand our sense of what is possible. They redefine the very horizon of our ambitions. The line between fantasy and reality has always been porous, a frontier navigated by the curious and the determined. Every time we turn a fictional dream into a working tool, we prove that our greatest natural resource is not buried in the ground, but housed within our own collective imagination. The stories we tell today are the research and development department for tomorrow's world. They are the ethical playgrounds where we test the consequences of our inventions before we ever build them. So let these incredible conversions inspire you. Let them be a reminder that the future is not a distant destination we passively arrive at. It is a story we are all actively writing together, with every question we ask and every boundary we dare to challenge. What vision from today's science fiction will you help bring to life? Share your favorite example of a sci-fi idea made real in the comments below. And join us as we continue exploring the greatest mysteries of space and science.